Back in the 19th century, there was a saying, never ever enter the East End without a loaded gun, and never ever go there alone. Back in the late 70s, they might as well have been saying that about our gigs. Forget all you've read, forget all the lies you've heard. This is the true story of the Cockney Rejects and the place that gave birth to them. This is East End Babylon.
Where the hell is Babylon? I just wanna know. Heard so much about the place, now I wanna go. Where the hell is Babylon? Does such a place exist? Is it real? Is it a myth? Back there in the misconceptions. Alright, come on! Where the hell is Babylon? I gotta know today. But before I leave my house, I gotta know the way. Where the hell is Babylon? Heard it's lots of fun. Can I get there on me bike? Straight up the M1. Alright, come on. Alright, come on, come on, come on. Where the hell is Babylon?
In the valley of the River Lee, where it joins the Thames 4 miles east of London Bridge, are many canals lined with factories where they make paint and varnish, chemicals and gin, where they process sugar and grind flour. And close by are London's largest docks. Soot from the factories, soot from the funnels of liners in the dock. It drifts over the rooftops, creeps into bedrooms, and dirties the washing on the line. The canals and the coal barges, the railways and the factories, all the muck and muddle typical of the chaotic development of our industrial towns. Busy, noisy, and dirty. This is West End.
All right, John!
Well, we're in Canning Town. Canning Town is, well, I mean, it's a famous place. It's famous for a lot of reasons. Notoriety. It had the moniker of the City of Thieves. There's more thieves come from Canning Town than anywhere. In fact, there's no banks left in the manor. There wasn't from, I think, the 1980s, because there were so many bank robberies here. And it was a place, Canning Town, that was full of bank robbers. That was the way it went. I mean, even, and I know for a fact that parcel force wouldn't even deliver here. It was banned from doing it because they'd get hijacked all the time. There was a little gaff on the corner. Now, if you come out of there pissed of a night and you was rolling home, you're more than likely to end up with a fucking 12-inch Mars bar down your face, because that's what happened. It was a very tough place, and this was not the kind of place you would have wanted to walk of a night or even a daytime. But that was Canning Town for you. But the thing was, it was a great community. If you knew everybody, and you did, if you didn't know anybody, then you was fucked. It was definitely a blagger's place. You could imagine Jack Regan and Carter down here every fucking day. They would have had a field day chasing villains. But I think the villains outwitted most of the people.
East End!
Starts at the Old Gate Pump, starts in E1 and finishes, I would say, at the back end of the Barking Road in East Ham, and that's the East End.
East End! We can't help it if we walk up our shops, and we can't help it if we ain't the slump. Make us stick to the seaside and the beaches the same, 'cause we're not the best of in Ireland!
Cockney's a fella that's born in the East End of London and talks Cockney.
What's talking Cockney?
Well, rhyming slang. Apples and pears, stairs. Frog and toad, road.
No one uses it. It's a load of old shit. That's just all bollocks, isn't it?
The vast majority of them are always proud of the area they come from, prepared to defend that area's reputation, such as it was.
If you got West End written on your birth certificate, you're a Cockney.
At East End was someone that Always had respect for other people.
Bottle, you know, front.
Wouldn't take no shit. Definitely wouldn't take no shit.
There's a strange way, like, that sensitivity.
Would give as good as they got in an argument.
A melting pot, like, of fighters, boxers, armed robbers.
A man who can have a laugh and a joke and a good drink and don't cause no trouble.
It could be black, white, indifferent, yellow, green.
You had to have a bit of cheek, you had to have a bit of front.
Yeah.
And your main step is don't step on anybody's toes.
We ain't frightening people, we're nice people, and we're genuine. Genuine down to earth.
It was in many people's eyes a shithole, but it was our shithole.
Thanks, John.
Here we are, Varley Road Custom House, where we were both created. As you can see, street's pretty much, pretty much as it was. A lot of people, I think, may have looked down on us because we come from a big, big family.
I wouldn't say it was really pleasant. There was a lot of rows, a lot of the usual shit, and this is the place. This is how it was, you know? How it is, and the old woman's still knocking about here.
I'm Jean Geggus, mum of the Rejects. Was born in West Ham, backing on to West Ham tube station. Lived there, close by, until war broke out. First of all, you could think there wasn't a war on, and then the bombing started. The house I originally was in Canning Town, and the whole street, that was hit by a landmine. And there was a school over there, Holsville School, where loads of children were killed.
On that first Saturday, they practically obliterated from the Silvertown Way to Silvertown. As a matter of fact, the whole of the Tidal Basin Custom House, right up to Silvertown, was obliterated.
I think the objective was just to bomb the tits out the docks. That was it, you know? Strangle us, stop our supplies. I suppose that was more integral to them than even, like, you know, U-boated the Atlantic convoys. Kill London, you kill Britain. Kill Britain, you crush resistance. It's over. They win. And it was basically these people that stood up to be counted. And they are responsible for turning the tide. I do really believe that. We wrote a song about it called The Power and the Glory.
Well, it's about people going to war.
For the bombs that flew in World War II from the Albert Docks to Bow, we could never show our fear, the world would never know.
The bombs that flew, World War II, the Albert Docks to Bow. We could never show our fear, the world would never know. But through the years, shouts of tears, many tears were cried. And the working class, off his ass, cast the ones that lied. And the fat man started off his clothes and said, look, we won the war. And the tears we shed over our dead made us hate them all the more. Power and the glory, power and the pride. The only pride that we have left for our boys who died.
Loads of children were evacuated, and you could see them on the stations with all their little boxes with gas masks and everything in, you know. But we went to Yorkshire with my mum and dad. And when we got there, we sat on the station with our luggage and we didn't even have anywhere to go. We were there about 4 years. We came back and we went to a relative who lived across the road to where I live now. And there was already 3 families in there and we were sleeping on the floor. And then we got the doodle bugs. That was the first experience I'd had in this house.
Nothing, I heard nothing.
You didn't get a lot of warning, you heard them. We had a shelter in the garden, so you'd run up there and get in. We just heard something going over and it stopped, and then an explosion.
My dad was in the infantry, he was in the Queen's Regiment in World War II. He enlisted in 1939. He fought in the desert. And my mum You know, I mean, out of the road that we lived in, I think there was about 4 houses standing.
All that side wall was down and was shored up with wooden supports. The windows were out. In fact, the whole house was in quite a bit of mess because plaster had come off the walls and we just had to move in and make good.
West Ham endured every phase of the air attack. On her few square miles, there fell 1,500 HE bombs, 33 rockets, 29 parachute mines, 68 fly bombs, 1,100 incendiaries. Not a single house in West Ham escaped damage. 13,500 were totally destroyed.
We didn't have any clothes or... Well, we didn't have any luxuries, nothing. We had no furniture, nothing. Just this house. Over the years, we've made it what it is today. I got married at 18. I've had 7 children, 3 of which were born in that same house. Mick was born there, Jeff was born there, and Janet. All in that house. I've lived in here, actually, 66 years.
All it ever was, little 3-bedroom council house. All right, imagine 9 people crammed into this.
Driving the old man and the old woman mad and each other mad. The garden weren't so bad, that was out there. I used to put the boxing gloves on and fight out here and kick footballs.
This is where the first gig took place.
Yeah.
Actually here.
Yeah.
And we used to have these kids sticking their heads over the back and over the back fences.
Then we had the Shed here. There's thousands of venues called the Shed, but this was the original. When we heard it was the end for Chelsea, that's when I took a dislike for it, you know what I mean? I found it out at an early age. So we battered the shit out of it, just like we used to do in their end. And this is where it started. This was it, yeah, it was drum kit there, you know, or buckets, whatever.
What's the lyric to join the Rejects?
I want to do a gig in my back garden.
In my back garden, and I want to wreck a lot before the press gets in. Because they get my mama drunk, they're gonna have me fed. Join the Rejects and get yourself killed. Join the Rejects and get yourself killed.
That was
and we really thought that that's how punk had started,
yeah,
but
started,
it was nothing of the sort.
Yeah, it was nothing
so
of
I
the
suppose
sort,
we
yeah.
invented punk.
Yeah, we invented it, yeah.
I remember living one entire winter in that.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Join the Rejects and get yourself killed. Join the Rejects and get yourself killed. Join the Rejects and get yourself killed.
If you come into this one, the Room of Dreams, we call it. You've got the Theatre of Dreams. This is the Room of Dreams. This is where 4 of us shelled up in here. My older brother, Stevie, my younger brother, Trevor, and me and Mick. So this was it. Yeah, I was fucking born in this bedroom. Born in here.
Yeah, you was born here, weren't you? We was all born downstairs, wasn't I?
Yeah, I was born over in the Jag Horner over there, yeah. That was me.
1, 2, 3, 4!
There was always a fight in Varley Road. It's what you call a very snidey street. I first got my nose broke here when I was 7 years old.
Jeff had a disagreement with another boy.
I'll give him his slap. His old man called my old man out over the fence.
They started fighting out there in the gateway.
And I was on that step there, I remember I was 7 years old, and he got up in his rage, come to me and he just went to me, crack, done me right in the hooter. Like, claret everywhere, bosh, really, really tough. So I fell back in there then. But that was the trade down this place. There was always one neighbour fighting one neighbour. It always seemed to be the same. And goading their sons on while there was a big crowd. You wouldn't think it, because it don't look like the fucking Bronx or anything, but it was just the way that it was round here.
The first cup final held at Wembley in 1923 was between West Ham and Bolton. Thousands of fans climbed walls and broke down barriers to get into the stadium. Inside, they wrecked the Royal Box, and the pitch had to be cleared by mounted police.
Back in the day, my old man used to cock a snoot at the violence with Millwall in the 70s and 80s. He used to laugh, and he used to tell me that it was a damn sight worse in the 30s. And you see all these flat caps steaming into each other and just showers of bottles going. He said it was terrible.
This goes back generations. Generations. You know, from the old dock days where, you know, there was a massive strike in the 30s. And the East End dockers decided to stay out and strike, and the South London dockers said, fuck you, we're going back, scabs. and they come to work in our docks. So that all stems from that.
West Ham was originally based around Custom House, but then West Ham is the East End. To me, it's always been more of a feeling, an emotion, you know? I know it was founded in 1895. The Thames Ironworks, founded like with the riveters and the people that built the ships. I'm not sure when the transition to West Ham would have been. I should imagine it would have been shortly after, about 1906.
Oh, West Ham, fucking hell. Might sound sad to some people, people looking that have never been involved in football, only watching it on the telly, but West Ham, to me, was my whole life for a very long time.
You'd see people going up in claret and blue scarves, marching down Prince Regent's Lane, and we was very lucky to have a ground within marching distance, you know, with the status that West Ham had. Up in the First Division, I know we've yo-yoed a lot.
It's in your head, even if you don't go, it's in your head, it's in your heart.
And it was just the atmosphere on the old terraces in the day. You just used to drink it up.
It was West Ham, West Ham. I was a mile and a half from the ground. That was it. I mean, it was the same. Me granddad played for West Ham.
That was my granddad, Jack, who, by all accounts, wasn't a very amiable chap. He used to carry around this goat on a bit of tether and stick it outside his local boozer. And it was said that within, like, 15, 20 minutes of him entering that boozer, someone had been thrown out the fucking window. You know, he was a bully, you know. He weren't a very good goalkeeper either.
Did he once attack the West Ham fans?
Yeah, he did, yeah. He let in a couple of soppy goals. And the crowd started getting on his case, and he steamed into them. As you do, you know what I mean? So, I guess that bit got passed on.
You see, the trouble with me is I don't know how to run. I was made in the East End. I'm a docker's son.
His father died, and a son could take over what they called their ticket in the dock. It used to go from father to son. So he went into the dock.
He was what the Yanks would call a longshoreman, just a docker, you know? Packer, freighter, with the old docker's hook, pull them off the cranes, unpack them, get them in the warehouses and the wharfs and everything like, yeah, just a bog standard docky. But if you can picture the scene, looking around it now, of ships, as far as that dock stretches, huge ships on both sides. It was just shed, wharf, 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 crane, wharf, ship, crane, wharf, ship.
From morning to evening, there'd be throngs of, like, people on their bikes. There was plenty of pubs. There was plenty of people on the street. It was very, very, very lively place.
You'd see loads of dockers all on bikes of a morning going to the dock.
I remember as a kid, my old man was never out of work. I mean, the docks were thriving then.
These docks were the busiest and largest docks in the world. It was also the living and the lifeblood, not only of the East End, but of London, and of course of the Empire. The diversity and culture that they brought to the area can't be underestimated. Yeah, my old man worked here all his life. From the East India, West India, which is over by Canary Wharf, the Millwall docks, which are over there, and these two worked here all his days. Docks started to die off in the 70s. I know they had a lot of problems with the likes of Jack Dash and the union movement, but, you know, I think that was the way that the powers that be wanted it to go. They wanted them gone.
There was lots of strikes. I didn't know really all the ins and outs of the strike, and he didn't always agree with it because he never really thought it was going to resolve anything. Each time it was very difficult financially because the person that was striking didn't get any money. It was just the dependents, but it wasn't a lot. So I just went to work. The thing that was most important to me was finance and keeping the children in what they needed and what they wanted.
A lot of the time, where you had hand-me-downs and we was poor, you know, and you couldn't have the latest gear that some others could have and all that. Sometimes I was a little bit embarrassed.
The docks were closing down then, things were all going wrong, and it was a beginning of change. If you go down there now, it's very hard to visualise what it was like.
By 1982, boff, it was all over. My kind of town.
The union's on their back. So many people down the neighbourhood 15. The men ships.
Now, there's no docks, no money's going around, is there? I would say no dockers, so there's no drinking no more. I could name 50, 60 pubs in the East End of London that's gone. Over 20 years, I suppose.
I
do get emotional, I'll tell you that now. I was on the train, as it comes out of Bow Road, Bromley by Bow, West Ham Plaza, where I got out to go, and it comes out to all the flats, it's like, I don't know who's to blame, but successive governments have ripped the heart and soul out of the East End now.
You had no say in how they lived your life. The lights are going down, right here and all around. There's nothing to be found. Live here in Silvertown. There's nothing left at all.
The community spirit's gone. You don't know anything about people anymore. You can walk through streets in Custom House. Nobody knows you.
Losing our identity, aren't we? I don't know one person I've lived here, what, 60 years? I don't know. I couldn't name one person other than me old mate here, Thomas.
How about your neighbours and all that? They all moved out?
Yeah, all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely different. In the last 10 years, getting worse and worse, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like everyone's moved out to Essex or Kent and all that.
Yeah. And took the kids with them. And there's no teenagers.
You're right, yeah, no teenagers. They can put plasters on it, and they can put patches on it, and they can say the area's going to be all right, it'll regenerate itself, but it's never going to be like it was in the day. And that was what gave this place its soul.
Back when we was kids, you didn't have many choices round here. You either ended up in the docks, or you ended up working at Tate and Lyle's, scraping sugar out your fillings for the rest of your days. Either that, or you slipped away into a life of skullduggery and thievery. But for most, there was only 3 real ways out of this place. That was football, boxing, and rock and roll.
Growing up round here, it was a very big hotbed of boxing. And I think most of the kids round here, that is what they wanted to do. It was a natural thing to get involved with boxing. Loads of me mates boxed, and there was a lot of clubs round here. We had the Royal Oak Gym, which was the most successful gym in Europe. And we had, you know, I think there was 4 world champions out there at one point, like with Jim Watt, Johnny Stracey, Charlie Magri and Maurice Hope. Now we come to the Peacock Gym. This is probably the biggest gym, most famous gym in the UK. It started in a school in Drew Road in Silvertown in 1978. And Martin and Tony Bowers, they hired out, it was a classroom at the top, and they got a ring erected in there, because all boys, they like a bit of rough and tumble, and that's what they need. From running wild on the street, you had great respect for your trainers.
A lot of kids now are getting in trouble. It ain't like just a fisticuffs anymore, is it? They're trying to kill each other, and I think that none of them have got discipline in them. Now, if you go in schools now, I do a lot of work in schools, help kids out in schools. The teachers can't shout at them in the wrong way. Now, if they can't do that, they're going to put discipline in the kids. I think boxing years ago was, you know, you go in the gym and you talk when you're training, mate. You go sit down over there and shut up, and you don't have to come to the gym for a few weeks. That's all I was taught, and you sort of learn from the old school trainers.
Boxing in out to run in the family. I mean, Mick got involved in the boxing. He was a little bit older than me, but he loved it too. But then Mick started when he was about 13, 14, the right age. I started when I was 9.
Jeff was very good boxer. And he boxed out of Barking. And he represented England when he was 12.
Mickey was the better fighter because he could punch, he could knock them over. And he went through his career, he never lost a fight, but he had that great fear of losing, which I lost a few in my time, but I learned to deal with it. I don't think he ever could have. But it was like the thing, I remember Mick, he used to come and watch me, and he used to fucking scream so mad when I was fighting. At one point, I was fighting in the schoolboys semi-final. It was a right tight fight.
One more.
They had to get him and take him out and put his head under a fucking tap. They thought, oh, whatever, it was going Garrity.
He would almost be fighting mentally when he was in the ring. But when Mick went in the ring, Jeff didn't respond like he did.
I was up for it, but I was always a lot more assured because I know that he'd get him in the end. Me, I couldn't fall over the line a lot of the time.
There used used to do everything together. That love of music came together, like the boxing, obviously, bonded us big time. And, yeah, it's just one of them things, you know. You can't really explain it. I don't think there's any secret formula to it. I mean, I love all my brothers and sisters. It's just me and Jeff seem to sort of take that leap of faith together, you know? We walk the plank.
We fought tooth and nail with each other, with my elder brother, my sisters, but we always stood up for one another. If one of them was in trouble, then you'd go round and I had bundles of fights over my sisters, fucking absolute bundles.
Working with family, you're always going to have your ups and downs, working with anyone, but family more so. And we do that, but we've always been very, very close. Always watched each other's backs. I mean, we box together.
Jeff, he tells Mick exactly what he wants, and Mick kind of sees it through.
Everything we did together.
Got a lot of respect for each other's abilities such as they are. But yeah, it's your brother, isn't it?
Sometimes I've got to let you know it's all right. It's ghostly now, so there you go. It's all right.
Things took off. Being in a band, it started to happen. I was still boxing. I was bunking training to go to rehearsal studios and recording studios, and the dedication wasn't there. But when I thought the band was going to kick in, you couldn't have meshed the two, so I thought, well, I've done my boxing bit. Now I want to go and be in a band. I've got to check this out. Leave that chapter behind. Go and find out what's over the horizon. When I'm going onto the stage, it reminds me of a kid when you're warming up in the dressing room and you think, I'm getting up them steps. To me, it's different because you ain't getting punched in the mouth. But when you're getting up them steps and you think, this is it, this is showtime, this is where I've got to go. And I look at people that got the gimmicks. I say, Steve Tyler does his fucking somersaults. You know what I mean? Dave Lee Roth used to kick his fucking legs in the air and all that. And Jimi Hendrix, I mean, he'd like fire up a fucking guitar. All I've got is my six-punch combination. That's me, because that's what I feel. I can roll them off, and no fucker's going to nick that. That's mine.
You got this fury and a heart of gold. You got this fury, judge and jury. Gonna leave a reputation of its own.
Listen, if you was really going to make it as a fighter, you had to be exceptional. Exceptional could never have been, and you had to be, so you knew that and it was too much fucking hard work, but as it turned out, it was more hard work in the fucking music game. I probably would have been safer in the ring than I would have been in this fucking business. I remember being, like, obviously in your bedroom as a kid, like, music meant ever so much. It really did. We was brought up on a strict diet of Top of the Pops on a Thursday night. And see all these, like, you know, different artists, these people, you know what I mean? They was from a different planet, you know? Obviously, you had Bowie with the Ziggy Stardust thing. You had Mark Bolan, Roxy Music, which was very different, you know? David Coverdale kept going on about his heart being broken. I didn't know what it was fucking like as a kid to have my heart broken, except when West Ham got beat. And that was every fucking week. I was getting my heart broken. I remember, I think it was that Steve Priest game, we haven't got a clue what to do with a big star on his eye. My old man going, look at that fucking puff. Like, I think, no, Daddy's cool, you know, that's okay. But that's how the older generation, that's what they thought of them. I mean, I can remember seeing Peter Gabriel on some television programme doing I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe, and he, like, dressed up like a big fucking flower. At the time now, I'd think, what a dickhead, you know? But at the time, it was fantastic, and rock and roll had that bit of theatre. And I thought that is what brought you out the doldrums from where you were and your shit-drab life, and you thought to aspire to be like they are. I know Mick, like, had chawed a couple of guitars or whatever, saved up his fucking 2p a week pocket money, and 100 years later he got a guitar. But he got a guitar and he was learning himself, like, you know, to play things and that. I wanted to be in a band, but I had fucking as much talent as that fucking chair over there. I had nothing, you know? All I had was to drag onto Mick's coattails. But when the punk thing come along, I think hearing the Pistols and all that, it was a great charge, and you thought, fuck me, anyone can be in a band now. So that's what you wanted to do. So I formed on a band called The Postman. It was absolutely atrocious. And we played buckets, fucking, you know, spoons. I tried to plug a 170 keyboard in there, but that was to no avail.
And they all had very weird names, really weird. And they came on there, and it was a load of old rubbish what they were doing. It was, you couldn't listen to... Well, I couldn't.
Guitar solo!
loved it and I loved the buzz.
They even did a thing on the BBC with John Peel and they got a little check through. Well, I mean, there's your incentive to get going for real.
Mick was, you know, playing with a couple of different people. Then I said, look, can I be in your band? And originally I was to be the drummer, but I couldn't even fucking do that, you know, I was useless.
They started doing their things between them indoors and they used to go up the shed.
Mick had the name The Rejects going down. I said, well, if we slip Cockney into that, all right, I think that'll go. And then Mick said that he was going to nick the name for a band he never even fucking had. Like, he said he had it, but I know he didn't. That's when the Cockney Rejects come, you know? We went back to actually using that name.
I used to take them to a place in East Ham and they used to do all Marks and Spencer's Rejects clothes. And I used to take them down there. I mean, he might have disregarded that, but it was my theory that they used to say, oh, you're going up that shop, but it had Marks and Spencer's on it. And they might have been Reject, but they was a lot cheaper than going in Marks and Spencer's. And I used to go up there and they used to say, oh, you're always up that Reject shop. But I was being mum and getting more, as much as I could for the money I had. And I wanted them to look nice, so that's what I did. And I often think to myself, is that why they called them the Cockney Rejects?
She claims she made that up.
Marks and Spencer's Rejects clothes.
Really? Well, there you go. This myth goes on. I don't remember that, but, you know, I'm willing to sue her.
Mick may have a different version of why they called themselves the Rejects. He might tell me off.
And he said, I'll be the guitarist if you yelp. So I yelped, and we'd write fucking songs like Gola Bag, because I always had a Gola bag. Mick got his blagging coat on. I said, we've got to take this to the next level. So that's when I was in school one day, and fucking about, like always, like making a fucking teacher's fucking life, like, dreadful. And Mick appears in the school, and he said, we've got to go up the Sounds. We're meeting Gary Bushell, who to us was a fucking big name at the time. He was writing about all the punk bands. So he went, yeah, he said, I'm going to go up there, like, tell him we got this, that and the other, like, we got all these songs, the name of the band. We hadn't even fucking recorded nothing.
The Cockney Rejects pretty much forced themselves on me. I mean, I was a writer up at Sounds, and I got a phone call one day from this guy who turned out to be Mickey Geggers. He said he had this band called the Cockney Rejects, and he wanted to meet me and talk about it. And I liked the sound of him, I liked the sound of the band, so I said, well, come up to the office. At the time was the White Lion in Covent Garden, the pub we used to drink in every day for 4 or 5 hours. And they bowled into the pub, very, very cocky, very articulate, and there was something about them I liked. They didn't have any music they could play me, but they said they'd been going and they had songs and they were performing and stuff like that.
I come out, I said, mate, we got fuck all. He went, wait, he said, like, we could be onto something here. Then he got a phone call out of the blue. He got in contact with geezer Jimmy Percy out of Sham 69. It was a big noise. He was looking for new bands. So they said they put us in fucking Polydor Studios. Now, all we ever used to do, we had a little fucking tape recorder where you press, like, play and record, and we knock out these fucking 4-bar shitter songs. Like, now all of a sudden, boss, from nowhere, we ain't even done a gig, or really had a rehearsal, we're going up to Polydor in this big fuck-off 24-track recording studio.
I didn't realise at the time they didn't have these songs. They actually wrote them because we were going to demo them. And so they went away and wrote Flares and Slippers and I Want to Be a Star and Police Car and all those songs. And turned up, they didn't even have a drummer at the time.
We got in there, there was an hippie geezer called Peter Wilson, who was Percy's engineer, and he ended up producing the Jam and all that stuff. And he went, hey, he said, where's the setup, where's your drummer? We didn't have one. Mick said, fuck, he's been injured in a car crash. He said, on the way up here, like, fucking car crash. Like, you know, if he'd had a drummer about, he wouldn't have been old enough to drive anyway.
So Mick came up with this sort of hustle-like lie that their drummer had been injured in a car crash that very day. And luckily Pete Wilson, the sound engineer, was able to step in and say, oh, I'll do the drums for you.
We went in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, fucking got it together, like, played the 4 songs, and when we come out, they sounded fucking half decent. I thought, that's all right.
So they basically conned their way into this demo with Pete Wilson and Jimmy Percy.
Fucking arseholes.
So we took this tape cassette, went to different people, and there was a place in Walthamstow called Small Wonder Records. We're giving this cassette, like, of it. He went, what's that? We went, we're the Cockney Rejects, listen to that. He went, I get loads of these. So we said, well, this one's different, mate. Like, because you got to believe in your product anyway. Because if it's shit, if you think it's shit, and you go nowhere. We've given the demo tape. On the way back, we got to me old woman's. I think 20 minutes after that, this geezer's on the blower, isn't he? So I really, really like this. I think we could make a single. I think, fuck me, we're gonna make a record.
I wanna be famous like I was yesterday. I wanna be a star in my own backyard. But everybody says it's gonna be on. But I don't care what I say.
So we got a little formation going, and we got Chrissy Murrow on the bass and Mick taught him a few lines. We blagged the drummer who had a fruit and veg stall up at Stratford Market. I wanna be a star. Before you knew it, he had to sort of make a 3-track EP, go into some studio in Islington, and you'd be making your first record. I think it was about a week before my 15th birthday. Then we took the tape to Gary Bushell, and Gary loved it. It was raw as fuck, but he loved it, and he started mentioning it in sounds, like, and saying this is good, putting it on his playlist. And before you knew it, like, we was on the road, they were starting to get interested in the band, you know?
And even the enemy, like, freedom, it ain't no fucking freedom. It's got, you know, and the enemy had said punk was dead years before.
Freedom, there ain't no fucking freedom!
When the record was actually played, that's what caught a lot of people, you know? Even when you yell it now at a gig, you feel, here we go again. I'm fucking 47. Freedom, there ain't no fucking freedom. And they'll go, and they'll go balmy.
Freedom, there ain't no fucking freedom!
We needed something more permanent. It was all right, brother-in-law coming and going, friends on drums, this, that and the other. I used to drink in the Army and Navy in New Barn Street, and I knew a fella called Vince Reardon from India. I knew he'd worked for Sham 69.
I was working as a roadie for Sham 69, and this young whippersnapper from Custom House come up to me and asked me if I could play a bass. And I said, yeah. And the next day I had a bass and we was playing. That's how it all started.
We was all reading off the same page, and, you know, it was 1, 2, 3, bunk. Let's see how it goes, and it worked. It was a crescendo of lovely noise.
Then after that, I couldn't believe it, we had a record coming out, so we was well and truly on our way. All we had to do then was find a fucking gig, because we hadn't played no gigs. Obviously, the Bridge House was the gig venue. I know they had bands Sham 69 and a lot of punk bands, The Damned and all that, have played there.
The Bridge House was the venue in East London. That's where a lot of the new bands were playing. They had the R&B bands, pub rock bands and bands like that. But that became the gateway to London for a lot of the two-tone bands, new mod bands that were about. Obviously, a lot of punk bands got in there. That was a very good little venue.
Even U2 had played there.
U2 played their first gig in London there. And a sensational band, pulled 18 people.
We wanted to get there because we went down there. And obviously the Murphys were boxing boys as well, Glenn Murphy, Terry.
I mean, they come from Custom House, I come from Canning Town. And always round West Ham Boxing Club I was in them days.
Very few outsiders actually came down to the Bridge House in the day because of the reputation it had, and of course the East End having that reputation too.
One night, me and Darren met Glenn Matlock at the Marquee. He'd just left the Pistols, And we was trying our hardest to get everybody to come to the Bridge House to play. Darren was chatting at one of them at the bar and he said, come and do a gig. And the bloke said, mate, you've got to be 6'6" with a baseball bat. He said, I ain't going nowhere near.
When they did come down, eventually they loved it, you know, and word spread from there. And that's when the Bridge House became the mecca of the punk revival, where it actually moved from the West End, from places like the Vortex and, you know, and all the rest of it, and it relocated in Canning Town.
So we went down and see Terry. Said with the Cockney Rejects, blah, 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 could we have a gig? He could have fucking swung a car around in the place. It was fucking empty, you know? But it was great. We got up there, we done our first half-hour set to a few people. Fuck me, it was like, at the time, winning the polls.
First Rejects gig, I say, was really good because Jeff got on stage, stinky, and he had his pyjamas on.
Probably got up half hour for the gig anyway, so it didn't matter. I made sure there was ones I had when I was about fucking 9 or 10 and tried to stick them on because they had motor cars. Mind you, I was 15, that must have been the right thing.
He looked like he'd had too much fizzy pop. He was like going like a crazy guy. We're all standing there. They just went through the set, and it was bloody good, and you knew there was something about it.
And in 1979-80, the place to be was the Bridge House when the Rejects played. It was fucking wild.
I think the release of Flares and Slippers in July '79 sold by the bucket load. Alternative charts, it was #1. It went really, really, really well.
Out of the blue, the Rejects then asked me to manage them. I hadn't managed anyone, but I quite liked the idea of it. And so I had a go, and I set them up a few gigs. And got Percy involved, because I said to Jimmy that he would be producing them when we got the deal.
He was a good blagger, Jimmy Percy. He was a big name then. And he had the record companies were swimming around him. We'd only ever played 4 gigs.
And the most interested was EMI.
Gary Bushell come with us, Jimmy Percy, myself, Mick and Vince. And we went up to EMI. I remember the head honcho, Chris Briggs, his name was. Very, like, nice geezer.
Who listened to the tapes, loved the tapes. It was pretty much, I suppose, to him, it was a no-brainer, because he was a band that obviously had the music press on their side, that had Jimmy Percy on their side. Sham 69 were a massive band at the time.
And he was fucking impressed. He said, I fucking love it. And he knew of the interests of the other record companies. So we started talking figures with Percy and Bushell, and Percy was a fucking great salesman. He's going, I want this, I want a fucking fan, I want a fucking 4-album deal. This and that. And while he was down there, he actually nodded and agreed to everything. He said, we want to sign the band on a 4-album deal. I said, and then I heard the figure 25 grand. Now, it may not sound fuck all nowadays, but in 1979, that was a fortune.
That was pretty good for them, for a band who'd, at the time, had played less gigs than the Sex Pistols had before they got signed.
You and Vince were on a bus.
Yeah.
Had just signed for EMI.
Yeah, that's right.
And you jumped, you made the bus stop. Yeah. You jumped off, you went, H, you can give your job up now. I said, what do you mean? He said, we've signed to EMI. I went, and we were like 3 of us, just hugging each other, just jumping about on the pavement, and then went on to the Bridge House and got absolutely hammered.
And I had 500 quid in £1 notes. I thought, this is it. Like, at the time, I probably could have fucking bought a flat with it. But that was it. That was great. I remember I fucked off back to school, went up in the fucking, they had a tuck shop. I went, well, who wants what, you know? Just bought them Kit Kats and cups of tea and all that. Bertie, big bollocks. But that never lasted, that advance anyway. It went on an Atari Space Invaders. Bundles of fireworks. Me and my young brother, we cleared out the shop in Freemasons Road in an old Dole's Prem. Spent 200 quid on fireworks. I say go up in smoke, but that was literally going up in smoke. But it was the best buzz I had, and I bought a pair of steel-cap Dr. Martens with the rest of me mates. I bailed me mates out as well, like snidey tenors, ponies here and that, and that was the signing of EMI. That was it. That's how I celebrated it. I know most would have gone for a fucking big snort and a fucking lavish party, but for me, it was just fireworks and going for a fight with Brampton, who was a school over the road. downside of it was that Gary Bush, who obviously was writing for Sounds, he said, look, that's McCree. He said, I've took you as far as I can. He said, you need to go to another level now with a proper manager. You know, Gary had done really well. I wish we'd have kept Gary.
At the time, it seemed like a good idea to introduce him to Tony Gordon. In reality, it was not a good idea, but, you know...
They looked down at us like we was just shit on his shoes. And I thought the same about him anyway, but he was connected. But I didn't know he'd gone from Lulu to punk rock. You know, you live and learn.
For a limited time, when punk was happening and everyone in the music business was interested in the commercial possibilities of punk rather than the musical side of it, people like Tony were attracted to bands like the Rejects and the Upstarts and Sham 69 because they were a huge earner, potentially. And I think it's fair to say that he made more money out of the band than anyone else did.
What most of them think, if you get yourself a bit of money, signed to a bigger company, they think that you're sold out and all that.
some guys are on the phone.
And the first one who says that to me says that we're sold out because we're signed to a big company. I'm going to smack them in the mouth.
So, if someone come up with you and said, do you want so many £1,000 to sign to somebody, you go, no, I mean, street credibility, like, you know, I won't be able to pick my nose. Can't do it.
We wrote stuff like I'm Not a Fool and Bad Man, and Here They Come Again, and stuff that was going to form the basis of the debut album, Greatest Hits Volume 1. We went into Polydor to do it, and we did I'm Not a Fool in one take, an East End, like Bish Bash Bosh, and then we ransacked the studio for some reason.
All right!
We completed the album in stages. We went to Shepperton Studios to do some of it, with Jimmy Percy in tow. And in amongst the mayhem and the madness, and there was a lot of it about, we managed to cut that album in just under 2 weeks.
This is for no one! The truth that be told!
We never thought we'd have a fucking hit record. Of course we didn't, you know. We was hoping we did. But, yeah, I just said, yeah, about a series of albums, yeah. You know, we'd signed for 4 or 5 albums with EMI, and I thought Greatest Hits 1, 2, 3, 4, and hopefully beyond, you know. And it partially come true. We did start having hit records. The success was very, very quick.
This is the no song! The truth that be told! This is the no one! And we know the no song!
And there we were, you know, riding the crest of a wave. The single started to chart, slowly at first, and then Bad Man did better. And the breakthrough single was Greatest Cockney Ripoff.
Come on! No more clothes now!
Which hit top 20. And then we got a phone call from the bods at EMI that we had Top of the Pops.
I got a call at my mother's, and the geezer's some prick, he went, hey, he said, you're going to be a rock star.
We bunked the trains up to White City to be pop stars for a day.
I was living at home with Mum and Dad, and Mickey came round on the Tuesday, banged on the door, he went, yeah, we're on Top of the Pops. I think we'd done it on the Wednesday, and I thought we was taking the piss.
Then here come the Cockney Rejects and Cockney Ripoff.
Come on! It was the greatest Cockney Ripoff. 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 I like to thank my mum and dad. They gave me the breakfast that I ever ate. And my mates never leave me when I was at school. I had the last laugh. I such to on the greatest Cockney Ripoff. It was the greatest Cockney Ripoff. It was the greatest Cockney Ripoff. It was the greatest Cockney Ripoff. Let's go now.
One of our roadies, I think he stuck one on Steve Wright. All he wanted to do was stand next to him while he introduced us, and then he got pushed out of the way, so our roadie chinned Steve Wright.
He was rude. He showed no respect.
He said, no, guys, you can go away. Call security. I thought, fuck me. 2 minutes ago, you said I could do it. So, I'm sorry to say, I lost the plot, and these boys very nearly got thrown off the show over it.
The Cockney Rejects and the greatest Cockney ripoff. That is what I call aggressive.
I think they showed about 1 minute, 10 seconds of us, you know, in front of all these divs and like that. I didn't know what to make of it, but we didn't care. We was pissed. And we had a great time, you know. And as we come out, Sammy Agger went past us in his big red Corvette, and we ran over the road and bunked the train home because we didn't have no dough. Got through the other end, vaulted the old barriers and got chased by some old West Indian ticket collector. Go, come back, man, you're not paid, you fucking cunts, and all the rest of it. So that was our first brush with stardom.
I was a fucking hero around my manor then. Hey, Gaggers, he's on fucking top of the pops tonight. He's on top, they've fucking done it, you know. Watched by probably about fucking 10 million people, whatever, 15 million people. My whole thing was really putting my manor on what I believed, like, on the map, which I think was a big ideal of punk, which a lot of them did, especially the more political ones like The Clash. And the only way we could put that on the map was I wanted Custom House to beat with the fire. I was so proud of it. And obviously West Ham United. I didn't give a fuck for politics. So when 1980 came and we was lucky to get to the final again, that was our point of always want to do a punk version of Bubbles. But now you've actually got something which justifies you doing it because you're in the cup final with how the band was flying at the time.
We got approached by AMI to do it. Iron Maiden wanted to do it, but we fucked them off.
We're the proper West Ham geezers here. I mean, couldn't imagine some cunt with a light ale bottle down his fucking shorts wobbling over Bubbles, could you? Like, you know, well, I couldn't.
We had all the AMI bods in there singing around the microphone, you know, and trying to keep the posher voices to the back.
And we recorded it, like, knowing that he was going to fucking chart. I knew that after Rip-Off.
From that moment on, everything was claret and blue. We had the FA Cup final in 1980, and top of the pops again, where we were very, very drunk.
We'd done a lot of wrong things that day.
They'd sort of like said, you can go up to the bar if you like and have a drink. Well, that's the worst thing they could have said to us lot, because we was absolutely gutted.
Vince falling arse over tit, you know what I mean? I didn't know what day of the week it was. We was all well monged, been in the green room and proper got on it.
I think come about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we was delivered these West Ham shirts by our manager, fucking manager, that's a good one, like, and he fucked off. So all our dough's gone in the bar and we're fucked. So we're getting more and more out of it, but, like, wanting to cause destruction and harm. And I remember there was a band called the Lambrettas, some dopey mod band, and they had some little fuck-off, jerk-off manager with them. But no harm meant, as we was crossing down the stairs, like that, someone sang that stupid song they had, Poison Ivy or something, and he went, they're a lot bigger than you boys, who the fuck are you, and all that. That's the red rag with a ball. I thought, he's got to fucking have some, that cunt. He don't verbal us. Then someone, like, clocked hold of him. I don't know, and they stuck a cutthroat up his Gregory. Like, and they said to him, like, you fucking cunt. Like, just to frighten him, we'd never have used it. And then the UK subs were playing as well. So we bundled over to their stage and got at the side of the stage, and we knew them. We started going fucking mad on the fucking strangling each other, throwing each other over and everything. Now, I think one of the producers said, who the fuck are that lot? And one of them said, that's one of the bands who are performing.
Do you know by now West Ham United won the FA Cup? And here to celebrate that fact are the Cockney Rejects and I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles.
Kept going, stop. Then Mick was giving it some jar, peace and love signs, so we had to stop that again. We was picking Vince up at the floor. How we got through to the end of the song, and without killing these gormless fucking soul pods at the front and keeping Vince sober, it must have took about 10 takes.
A few rows with a couple of bands on there.
And that was a brilliant day, you know. We sort of had a little run-in with Legs and Co, tried to get into their dressing room, kicked the door down, got warned about that. I think someone else got a clump, a member of another band.
But that's the way we was. We was young fucking, like, hooligans.
And after that, we got banned off Top of the Pops. Don't ever come back to the BBC.
Looking back, it was a fucking death wish, you know, because if it had been like a band from fucking Leeds or Manchester or whatever taking their, you know, they would have got the same as what happened to us.
That really was, in many ways, the beginning of the end of the first phase, because that's it. We were forever linked with West Ham. The B-side, as you know, was West Side Boys.
1, 2, 3, we're on the north bank, we're on the south bank, we're the west side of Upton. We're not an old fake. We're not...
West Side Boys was probably the best or worst example of football hooligan song. I mean, it was wrote tongue-in-cheek as well.
Yeah, of course it was.
But obviously, like a song for the boys, but people outside the E numbers didn't quite appreciate it.
Yeah, they didn't really like that one.
We're the West Side Upton Park. We're not the North Bank, not the South Bank. We're the West Side Upton Park.
The Dr. Martins and iron bars, smash the coaches, and do them in the cars.
Wait and sing until we drop. We can take the shed and take the cop. Ivory and Paxton running fair
When the West Side Boys appear.
Come on!
West Ham was a very peculiar mob. It was made up of all little firms. All little firms. We had a lot of rivalry. You had Canning Town, you had your Custom House, you had the Mile End Boys, Joe Williams and all them. You know, it was a proper fucking heavy-duty fellas. And they'd fucking fight each other when there was no one else to fight.
On a Friday night, people from Custom House stayed in Custom House, people from Canning Town stayed and you never really mixed. If you did mix, you ended up kicking off. Saturday morning, you wake up, brush yourself down, and you'll go football and fight the enemies.
The back, you used to get the away supporters coaches down Central Park Road. That's where they'd, like, you know what I mean, Stoke City or anyone would be there. I mean, you're 10 and 11, go round there armed with a fucking handful of stones, you know what I mean, and bricks, and let's fucking do their windows. Smash the cunt out their windows, spend the afternoon getting chased by the old Bill round the back. It was fucking great. What a day out. I remember seeing these letters ICF that were sprayed on the wall. I thought, what the fuck's that? Went back to Scotland and yeah, it's the Intercity firm. That's the new firm over there.
West Ham were the first football team with a standalone firm who would take a firm anywhere, all over the country.
The ICF got their name and reputation by travelling on intercity trains rather than football specials.
Well, it's because you used to get these coupons and they travelled, obviously, on the intercity trains, you know, for Freeman's, and it was the only way to travel. First class, of course.
I think it was an easy transition because the kids as young as 10 and 11 and all that, this is our firm.
The buzz used to go around school, the buzz used to go around here that certain teams coming down. I think it really kicked up the menu in 75. You know, when the Red Army come down and got the shit smashed out of them, you know what I mean? And you all wanted to be a part of that. You wanted to be a part of this West Ham thing.
It was about belonging. It was about people being together from all walks of life. You didn't have to be the hardest man in the world to be part of the football crowd. Being on the outside, you had to get on the inside. You used to see the rows in the crowd and all that. And I wanted to be so much with these people. I did, and I admit it, because the age gap was 5, 6 years. And I desperately, in a lot of ways, wanted to be accepted. And the way that you had to be accepted is you think, fuck it, my coat's coming off like anyone else, and I'm into the fray.
You'd be in the West Side and you watch all the big boys kicking off, and you watch all the boys getting stuck into the away supporters, and then it'd go off outside, and eventually you sort of joined in there, you know, it was infectious.
And before you know it, bang, you're right in the middle of them, and it's off-ski. And that was a great thing, and the bus coming round the ground, you know what I mean, come where the other cunts.
It was just great. We used to go there. We used to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, Upton Park. Be there, go and have a nice big boys' breakfast, and then just have a little scout round. See if there's any stragglers, some of the other teams and that. You know, if you see a few carloads turn up, especially like Northerners, they used to come down in the car, still waving their fucking red and white fucking scarves out the windows, which was a mistake. They got sorted pretty quick. But no, it was just like a whole day thing. It was really good. You know, you look forward to it all week at work. You know, and come Saturday morning, like get up, you know, have a bath, get your stuff on, get your gear on, like see your mum, off I'm going. And off you went, and it was a great all-day thing, you know. Say, breakfast in the morning, whatever happened during the day, pie and mash afterwards, and then go out on the piss. It was great.
I never really went to that many away games. It was only when I was in the Rejects that we sort of inadvertently became the ICF's strike force. You know, a van of about 15 geezers going up and taking on anything to sort of 300 Mickey Mouses or Brummies or whatever.
We just used to go along to cause loads of problems. That's what we did, fight.
There was just bundles of stuff that come obviously from the terrace. I mean, the terrace was no different than living on the street anyway, because you was always fucking fighting in the streets and doing what you did. This was just a bigger meeting place, you know what I mean, for it to do. And
once your peers go to work, yeah.
You went to a fight and a football match broke out. That's the way it went, you know?
on the terraces that West Ham supporters had their own band. It wasn't like Sham or anything like that. It was all sort of fringe, and it was all from sort of out in Surrey and places like that. We was the real deal. He was West Ham supporters, very heavily involved in it. And we was all in the band, and everyone was going around the terrace saying, we got our own band, we got our own band, it's up the bridge tonight.
Once all the boys got into going gigs through Sham, next thing they were coming back talking about we got a band of our own. It's West Ham, and it really started the talk amongst the terraces, everyone going to gigs.
The boys that we knew, all the ICF, and everyone started coming to the shows, and we was the same as our audience. We was all reading off the same page, we was all pals.
Really, the only ever true West Ham band was, I would say, the Cockney Rejects, who actually flew the colours and were proper West Ham fans.
Everyone knew someone from the band, and everyone had gigs, you know. It was just the whole way of life then was football, football, football. It wasn't just about Saturday. You lived it every day in a week.
Height of the football era, when hooligans, and the hatred from north, south, east, west, everything was there. Yet you went and played with your colours on stage in 400, 500, 600, 700 people in enemy territory, and I've been with you, Sheffield, Nottingham, wherever we was, and it could have kicked off, and they could have smashed the fuck out of
Gigs, and a lot of them was trouble-free at the time, you know, when you went to some of the provincial places. But when you hit the big towns like Liverpool and Birmingham and all the rest of it, that's when it got nasty.
Well, there were two sides to seeing the Rejects. There was the Rejects on home ground at the Bridge House, which was always fantastic. Seeing the Rejects in other parts of London was a little more problematic because of their association with West Ham.
Outside of London, we were marked men. And that was when the days of like, being a little hit crew in our van going away and fighting entire football crews from other major cities started. But at the time, we relished it. We didn't really care.
There are two ways of being a football fan and a rocker. You can go out on stage, if you're Iron Maiden, and say, we're West Ham, you're Manchester, tonight we're going to party. Or you can go out on stage and say, we're West Ham, you're Manchester, who wants it? And that was the difference in attitude between the two bands. And on the back of the second Rejects album, it says it quite plainly for everyone to see. From Scotland down to Cornwall, we done a lot, we took them all. To thousands of testosterone-fueled males around the country, this was a red rag to a bull. And they saw it not as an invitation, but as a challenge.
Get the Rejects out there, and the opposition will come, and it got bad. It got very bad in the end. But there was always that feeling that you couldn't let the side down. You couldn't let the side down. They turned up wanting it, and we fucking gave it to them. Simple as that.
Are you ready to rock? Come on!
When they played the Birmingham Cedar Club, it was the worst example of gig violence ever seen in this country, with lots of different firms and people supporting various Midlands teams coming together as one with the intention from the start to wreck the gig. And I dubbed the gig the rock and roll equivalent of Rorke's Drift.
Discussing Birmingham. Fuck me, Rorke's Drift. We might as well discuss that. Obviously, in May 1980, West Ham won the FA Cup, so we bought bubbles out. We went on top of the pops with our West Ham shirts. Some people say it was a bad move, but no, I don't regret it. You was just flying the flag. The tour that come the next month, we knew that it was going to be pretty dodgy. It was like, most of the violence that come from there we could have handled, but you kind of had it in your head that it was going to be more and more mobs now, whether you might have gone to Leeds, you might have gone to Manchester, Sheffield, whatever. They're going to come here. So we went to this place to see the ballroom.
The club was run by Kevin Rowlands from Dexys Midnight Runners.
That's right, yeah. We should have done a runner as well.
Yeah, we should have done, but us being us at the time, we didn't.
About an hour before we was due to go on, I could tell it was packed, and the stage was at the back. But funny enough, the backstage, you had to walk through the audience, walk up this spiral staircase, and there was your changing room.
We walked around, we had to walk from the back of the back, right through the crowd.
Then all of a sudden, like, the call was going down, the roadies had to go down and obviously set the gear up. I think it was H come back and Wellesley, they said, it's fucking bedlam down there. They said, it ain't a good scene. He said, we've been getting a lot of jip.
There's a couple of distinct memories The first was the atmosphere. I can remember the atmosphere there, and it was like a feeling that we used to get when we used to go football as well. You know, we used to go in another team's end and things like that. You think something's a bit iffy here.
When it was showtime, obviously you build yourself up, don't you? You go, this is it. We've come down the spiral staircase. Obviously we're walking through, it's like the parting of the Red Sea, and you go, oh, these fucking brummies, you know, fucking Cockney wankers and all that.
And there's one skinhead in particular I can remember, standing at the front of the stage, and he was looking at me, and he was leering at me, going like this, pointing to his arm, and he had a tattoo. To this day, I can't remember if it was Birmingham or Villa, I can't remember.
There was plenty of verbal, like, but anyway, we got on stage, crack, we kicked into it. Like, I can't even remember what song it was, but after a couple of songs, a couple of things coming over, a couple of pint glasses. There weren't plastic glasses, there were pint glasses. It was good, fuck off cunt, like, you know, there was a bit of, I'm gonna tell it how it is, and only sort of like, fuck off cunt, bollock, yeah, you fucking want it, and all that. And there was some big fucking goof fucking bonehead at the front with a Villa tattoo, and he was like the ringleader, but he was packed in now. And if you look back about, I don't know, so many, over at the middle of the hall, there was a bar there as well. And it was packed there, the verbal kept coming, it kept coming. Then after about the fourth song, someone chucked a pint glass, and it's lucky, like when I was 15, like, just swerved it like that, went past my head. So I stopped, and when whoever threw that, like, which is a dumb thing to do, you know what I mean? I turned around, I went, let's go outside, me and you. I said, make your way to the front of the stage, we go out the back and we'll have a row, you coward cunt.
And to be fair, the first song went reasonably well.
We went to go into another song. I tell you, it was a fucking bad atmosphere. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no guitar. I thought, where's my brother? Look down. All of a sudden I see Mick, and he had this yellow vest on. So we used to call him the Canary in this yellow vest. And I just see him in beneath this load of boneheads, and it came crack, smack, crack. All of a sudden, bang, we're down, we're into them. We're fucking knocking we're pushing them back, eating them to the bar. I mean, they're coming from the sides and hitting us with things and all that, but it's kill or be killed. There's nowhere to go at the back now.
The next thing I remember was this glass ashtray.
It's a big fucking object come flying through, like, and it was spinning like that. It was like kind of slow motion. I thought, fuck me, before I knew it was a big fucking glass ashtray. Me and Mick standing together, me being the lucky one. It's gone crunch.
And next thing, I've just seen it connect with Mick's head, bang, and Mick's still got the Fred Perry scar to...
It stood back, honestly, it was like a fucking, I don't know, it was like a Sam Peckinpah movie when the blood just got like that. And now the bouncers have tried to get involved, like, you know, there's carnage. And how it happened, I don't know. They managed to get about 12 of us to this side thing and tried to lock the door, and we got about 5 to 8 men out there. Mick, my brother, Andy Swaller, a few of them, and they're still out there, and there was this big fucking bouncer. And then when I'm going to lock the door, and there was like a clothes rail. There, fucking, would you believe it? Thank you, God. So I turned around to the bouncer, I said, my brother's out there. I said, open the fucking door. He went, no, I'm not going to open the door. So Finch turned around, he said, if you don't open the door, cunt, he said, we've got 8 men out there. He said, we're going to fucking do you. And I swear, this big 6'4" bouncer, with his big fun, he started to cry. Why would I can't take this? Oh, get out of the way, you cunt. Bang, we're in there, we're smashing them, we're winning the battle. Turn, they've got casualties on the floor. I see people, then I see Johnny Butler and Danny Harrison get, like, cut. One of them got glass, one of them got chipped down the side. There's claret, but their people are on the floor. And all of a sudden, bang, here come the cozzers. And they've come straight over to Mick. He's got his head hanging about there. I said, right, you're nicked. He's fucking nicked. I said, you fucking have, he's fucking nicked. I said, there's 20 of us. We fucking just fought 150 of your fucking buds. And you want to fucking nick one of us? So anyway, they go, oh, calm it down, this, that. Now, Mick was badly cut, and a couple of others. And how this fucking happened, I'll never know. He got moved to a fucking hospital to go and have his fucking head fucking put back together, his brain put back in. I got in a van. As well, even Nigel Wolfe, our drummer, who never said 3 words. But he said 3 words that night. He went, come on, cunts. So, that was the first words I ever heard from him. And all of a sudden, we're driving round in this fucking, like, tranny, in this transit, and we're pulling out all these boners. You go on, you can't, only about 8 of us. And this Nigel Wolfe, he's a fucking shoe salesman, quite as you like. He's going around like a fucking psychopath, swinging his cup, clocking and wanting to kill him. Like, I thought, oh, this is great. Then we got back, and we pulled up the van. When there's a cunt, we got there, and there's this fucking bonehead, brummy cunt with the Aston Villa tattoo, who's been giving it the mouth, who ain't got a scratch on him. So I'm on the phone, I went, come on, you cowardly cunt. And he had a bird with him. He told me, oh, darling, I love you, like, and put his arm out. I went, you fucking shit, you're never going to do anything with a woman's there. I went, you shit cunt, look at you. So we rounded the troops back. Like, obviously, like, for the old bill, put this and that. We got back to the hotel, oh, where's Mick? And he's at the fucking hospital.
And I was on the 3rd floor. And all of a sudden, Grant, I was just the treatment room door open, he said, they're everywhere, they're all over the place. There's all the injuries and all the bully boys who've been bashed at the club, the Brummy lot, were actually in there, coming in with drips and on stretchers and limping. But they noticed Grant in a hallway, and they started to tool themselves up. Those who could walk, they was like waylaying operating trays and taking scalpels and tools and broom cupboards, up in the broom cupboards to literally bash the life out of us in the hospital. So I had to tell the nurse doing the procedure on my head to stop right there, right? So that's why it's scarred so badly, because they didn't have time to stitch it, because I just made them pull it out and stop there, and we had to bunk out the 3rd floor window.
The aftermath of Birmingham was maybe be a bit of a calamity after that, because although we'd won all our rows, like, there wasn't one like this. And you thought, how many, can you win another one? Who knows? Who's going to be waiting for you in the next corner? Who's going to be waiting for you in Liverpool? Who's going to be waiting with Sheffield? And are you always going to be able to be 20 strong? You know what I mean? If we were 6 or 8 strong, we would have got killed.
Yep, we won the day there, but that was the decline of the band because we were fractionalised. We were what we are. We'd nailed our colours to the mast. We were West Ham, and we didn't care who knew it.
I think with the nickings that come from it, and then the constant arrests that seem to follow the band after that, and not being able to keep out of trouble, we had a record company who could have moved us to Europe, where I didn't even know at the time we were selling shed loads of records, and say, let it calm down, you know, we'll move you away. I think it closed a chapter on the band, really, because everybody, I mean, PA companies were pulling out. Nobody really wanted to book you. And if they did, they couldn't risk you on a fucking big tour. I think, in a way, that was kind of a death sentence on the band for that time. I was just 16, and I thought, is this how it's going to go on? I mean, what does it end in? Someone fucking dying?
And then, as if things couldn't have gotten any worse, we had to deal with these mugs.
As I was starting to get into the game, at the Sham 69 gigs, and then it spread to the upstarts, like, it was an handover effect. They was getting a lot of right-wing British movement people at gigs, absolutely fucking destroying it. And they fucking did, they destroyed it.
The British movement were a problem, but they've been a problem in London ever since the 76, 77. By 78, they were causing problems.
They was out-and-out Nazis, like, influenced, obviously, like, by Himmler and Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich, and they somehow thought that that could come over to music.
Although they were small, they were a real problem for bands, especially any bands who dared to have political opinions opposite to theirs.
Their way of dealing with people's intimidation.
I think every single British movement member in Greater London turned up to the Rainbow, Sham's last stand, and there was only about 40 of them, but they managed to gather around them about another 160, so there were about 200 boneheads basically running about. I went to that gig by tube, and I came out the tube, the first thing I saw was a guy putting a glass into someone's face just to get their ticket to go in to cause trouble. They invaded the stage and were doing all their Ziegel nonsense, and Percy led the band off.
They bullied him, they wrecked his career. And he had to fuck off and run off stage crying, and all these bonehead cunts on the stage going, Ziegel, blah, blah, blah.
And it was just a horrible, horrible, poisonous atmosphere. Sound said at the time that it was like young Nazi London was united like a pack animal under a whip.
It's a natural thing for them to move on somewhere, and they're going to come round us. Now, there's no way we was going to accept them people round us.
I don't like coloured people because they're coming over here, taking our jobs and our women and our money.
None of them are fucking centre forward. I don't give a fuck about them, whether it's fucking lefties, right wing. Don't want them around me. And especially these people, because they cause fucking damage, you know? And we didn't want it.
When they started causing trouble, or started trying to cause trouble, then the Rejects and their entourage battered them out of the park.
Then we had a row down the Electric Ballroom with a load of Nazi skinheads, but we wiped them out in no time. I mean, I was picking on punk rockers. I don't give a fuck who they are. But when you got bullies, they've got to be wiped out, haven't they?
Mick and the boys, they'd already played, And we were sitting upstairs in the balcony and we saw these people picking on punks, and they wouldn't have it at all. They went straight, there was only about 11, 12 of them, and they went down, it was like a pincer movement, went down 2 flights of stairs and just took on all of these bonets and bashed them out the ballroom.
If they want to talk with you, like you talk it over, if they want to have a ruck with you, you've got to have a ruck with them.
Don't speak to me about the Rejects. West Ham, no, I just don't like... They never get nowhere anyway, because the music, that's all they do is sing about football and things like that. You think they're putting over a false image? Yeah, they are. The East End and... They're just trying to act like shamming, like, things, you know what I mean? They're trying to be skinheads and all got long hair. No, they're trying to put on an image that they're tough and all that. You know what I mean? And they're nothing.
I just thought we was easy targets, these people. They'd come to our shows and just think they could start on us for some reason because we was in a band. And they did get it. Normally a big Thunderbird bass, black Thunderbird bass first, wasn't it? Straight over the canister.
If they were starting trouble at our gigs, they were starting on someone, and they said, oh, the Pistols might jump into a fight. Nobody jumped into a fight like we did. We absolutely jumped in there and bashed the fuck out of them. Proper, give it to them. Like, you know, it was like the Wild West. There was no, oh, we've got to get back up on stage to finish the song. You finish the boneheads who were starting the trouble. Then you think about the gig.
That happened on at least 3 occasions, probably the most bloody being at Barking Station.
There was a pub called the Barger Ground, and there was a few of them. There was one there, geezers, Mick took him out with one right hand to the jaw. That was him, finished, bang, good night. Over he went, and it spilled out. We went to Barking Station.
Because we was called certain names in a pub one night by a load of skinheads, and, you know, we ain't like that. We don't want to get involved. We never wanted to get involved in any right-wing anything.
That was the end of them. They never fucking come anywhere near us. They never, ever come anywhere near us.
All of a sudden, because we was from the East End, they was going, oh, they're a British movement band. They're a right-wing BNP band. They're this or that. When we wasn't. We wasn't nothing of the sort. And then this TVI got on to EMI, the great record company EMI, and said they want to do an interview with you about football hooliganism. So we thought, well, fucking bit of publicity.
I know that TVI had contacted the boys and wanted to film them down the Bridge House. They said they wanted to do a thing about football hooliganism and the band.
You know, through the Top of the Pops thing, and then when we never got Top of the Pops with More on the Terraces, which charted quite high and all that, it was just, fuck me, yeah, let's get back on the telly. It might boost us a bit, and we'll talk about the football violence. So we invited about 30 heads down there. That's what they wanted, to make it look as if it was a gig. Go!
When the boys got down there, all they wanted to talk about was the British movement. They had nothing at all to do with the Regis and never did.
Oh, it was an absolute stitch-up.
They like their music loud and violent, and their themes are violent too. This group, the Cockney Rejects, sing of war on the terraces. They have a strong British movement following, and some of their audience took part in the march. It's at rock concerts like these and at football matches in London's East End that British movement recruiters are active.
War on the terraces! They want war on the terraces!
For the present, the British movement, particularly among the skinheads, is a minor cult. The fashion may not last long. Most of the skinheads, bored with the politics, will drop out. But the British movement hopes that some at least will remain committed.
We was fucking livid. We went to our manager and went, you ain't gonna fucking suffer this. They've libelled us, the fuckers took our livelihood away, this good and all that.
I phoned up Sounds and I phoned up so many people to say, you're wrong, why are you doing this? But they didn't take any notice. They just made a programme and...
It's the worst thing in the world, right? To be accused of something which you're really, really against, and you ain't fucking done it. Would have got my goat up there, thinking about them cunts. Right. Yeah.
Wait till you see it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't.
And the next minute, we got a ban off the GLC. We can't play the Rainbow, we couldn't play Hammersmith-Odeon. So it was forces outside what, you know, we weren't asked how we can control the crowds or that. It was just, we were banned.
Over. If they want to have a ruck with you, you've got to have a ruck with them.
Don't speak to me about the Rejects. West Ham, no, I just don't like... They never get nowhere anyway, because the music, that's all they do is sing about football and things like that. You think they're putting over a false image? Yeah, they are. The East End and... They're just trying to act like shamming, like, things, you know what I mean? They're trying to be skinheads and all got long hair. No, they're trying to put on an image that they're tough and all that. You know what I mean? And they're nothing.
I just thought we was easy targets, these people. They'd come to our shows and just think they could start on us for some reason because we was in a band. And they I did get it. Normally a big Thunderbird bass, black Thunderbird bass first, wasn't it? Straight over the canister.
If they were starting trouble at our gigs, they were starting on someone, and they would have said, oh, the Pistols might jump into a fight. Nobody jumped into a fight like we did. We absolutely jumped in there and bashed the fuck out of them. Proper, give it to them. Like, you know, it was like the Wild West. There was no, oh, we've got to get back up on stage to finish the song. You finish the boneheads who were starting the trouble. Then you think about the gig.
That happened on at least 3 occasions. Probably the most bloody being at Barking Station.
There was a pub called the Barger Ground, and there was a few of them, and there was one there, geezers, Mick took him out with one right hand to the jaw. That was him, finished, bang, good night. Over he went, and it spilled out. We went to Barking Station.
Because we was called certain names in a pub one night by a load of skinheads, and, you know, we ain't like that. We don't want to get involved. We never wanted to get involved in any right-wing anything.
That was the end of them. They never fucking come anywhere near us. They never, ever come anywhere near us.
All of a sudden, because we was from the East End, I was going, oh, they're a British movement band. They're a right-wing BNP band. They're this or that. When we wasn't. We wasn't nothing of the sort.
And then this TV I got on EMI, the great record company EMI, and said they want to do an interview with you about football hooliganism. So we thought, well, fucking bit of publicity.
I know that the TVI had contacted the boys and wanted to film them down the Bridge House. They said they wanted to do a thing about football hooliganism and the band.
You know, through the Top of the Pops thing, and then when we never got Top of the Pops with More on the Terraces, which charted quite high and all that. It's just, fuck me, yeah, let's get back on the telly. It might boost us a bit, and we'll talk about the football violence. So we invited about 30 heads down there. That's what they wanted, to make it look as if it was a gig. Go!
When the boys got down there, all they wanted to talk about was the British movement. They had nothing at all to do with the Regis and never did.
Oh, it was an absolute stitch-up.
They like their music loud and violent, and their themes are violent too. This group, the Cockney Rejects, sing of war on the terraces. They have a strong British movement following, and some of their audience took part in the march. It's at rock concerts like these and at football matches in London's East End that British movement recruiters are active.
War on the terraces! We want war on the terraces!
For the present, the British movement, particularly among the skinheads, is a minor cult. The fashion may not last long. Most of the skinheads, bored with the politics, will drop out. But the British movement hopes that some at least will remain committed.
We was fucking livid. We went to our manager and went, you ain't gonna fucking suffer this. They've libelled us, the fuckers took our livelihood away, this good and all that.
I phoned up Sounds and I phoned up so many people to say, you're wrong, why are you doing this? But they didn't take any notice. They just made a programme and...
It's the worst thing in the world, right? To be accused of something which you're really, really against, and you ain't fucking done it. Would have got my goat up there, thinking about them cunts. Right. Yeah.
Wait till you see it.
Yeah. Oh, no, but I couldn't watch it. I couldn't.
And the next minute, we got a ban off the GLC. We can't play the Rainbow, we couldn't play Hammersmith Odeon. So it was up forces outside what, you know, we weren't asked how we can control the crowds or that. It was just, we were banned, weren't we?
So that was when all our chickens came home to roost. Jeff and H appearing at the Bailey, me in Birmingham on GBH and afraid charges, and me and Jeff on an unrelated charge at Snaresbrook Crown Court. The one tour we could have really done without.
We got shafted at the Old Bailey. We had to go to a GBH.
I was never been so scared in my life. Me and Jeff looked at each other, we went, fucking hell, whatever happens, Jeff, we're together. Shook hands, shook hands like that. Yeah. And we got called and we walked up this spiral staircase out into this fucking court. And I tell you what, to us it looked like Wembley Stadium. It was fucking massive.
I've been in some courtrooms, but that was Wembley Stadium, of course, wasn't it?
I was shitting myself, I don't mind admitting it. That was hanging over us before we went to court, was up to over a year, Jeff.
Yeah.
And it was always, and do you know what, even after it was all done and dusted, you know, the fine had paid and everything. Do you know, I couldn't get it out of my head. I don't want to do prison. There's a lot of so-called heroes out there saying,
be the worst place you'd ever be.
We don't mind doing a bit of bird. What a load of bollocks. What a load of bollocks. And to be honest, after that, I thought to myself,
yes,
you're going to have to knuckle down, get a job, you know, and let's get out. And I did.
think with everything that happened, he made the choice as well to leave behind that and say, right, we're going to go into fucking being an heavy rock band now. This is the way it's got to go. It was our fucking living. And that's what we didn't want that taken away from us.
Early doors, the Rejects always did played the Motorhead song, Motorhead. And so it was, you know, it wasn't too wild a stretch of the imagination to think that one day they could end up being heavier and heavier. But what they didn't want to do it in a long, delayed way or in a progressive way. They didn't want to do slowly move in that direction. They said, oh, bollocks, we're going to do it now, we're going to do it our way. And so they did the Wild Ones album with Pete Way from UFO producing. And it was a very, very good hard rock album. Unfortunately, for a fan, if you were into the punk side of it, it was too big a leap too soon.
That was a good album, but again, because it was us, it was received as like we was trying to do something we couldn't do. You know, if it had been another band's name on that album, they would have been screaming about it. But because it was the Cockney Rejects, it didn't get received the way it should have.
We was ripped off for a hell of a lot of money yet again, and we held on as long as we could. And in the end, Vince, quite rightly in my view at the time, said, I can't carry on like this. We can't carry on like this. I've got to go to work. This is not putting bread on the table. So, reluctantly, for both of us, Vince had to go his own way.
It was financial. It was doing me head in every time you went somewhere, someone wanted to punch you in the mouth. So, you know, I wish that had changed a bit, you know what I mean? Maybe it'd got a proper living out of doing it.
We thought, fuck it, you know what I mean? Enough brick wall punk albums, we've done that. Now let's emulate our heroes, you know? I want to be fucking free. I want to play some Kossoff licks and stuff like that. So we wrote an album called Quiet Storm, which was a hark back to, like, 1967 to 1972, classic British rock and roll. And the album itself, critically, was very successful. I think in 1984 it was named the 4th or 5th best album of the year in Kerrang, you know, right behind Purple and a couple of other of our old heroes. But at the same time, it went to our head. We was doing a lot of dope and stuff at the time, and we got invited to go across to Los Angeles. So we went over and played the old Olympic Auditorium, which is like fucking 10,000 people. It was Remo. They thought they was going to get ready to rock, and they got us doing fucking 5-minute guitar solos and drum solos and sub-fucking Robert Plant wailing and all that. And of course, they pelted us with everything that made their fucking hands on. And we were so big ignorant, we couldn't understand why. You know, fuck me, if I'd have paid all them dollars to get in to see a band I wanted to play their hits, I'd fucking be pelting them and all.
They could have carried on as a rock band. I think they were good enough to have been to have made it as a hard rock band. But unfortunately for them, the wheels were coming off in other directions. They were being, I don't know. You've got to phrase this carefully, I guess. They had trouble with their management. They had trouble with the record company. Basically, the trouble was they never got the funds they were due. And I don't know how you can say that without saying they were ripped off, but they were ripped off.
And that's what really when I started to get fucked up in the fucking early 80s and all that. When I was fucking trying to get onto things, which now I look back was laughable. There was more chance of Nelson getting his fucking eye back than that happening, you know?
And then came back and drifted merrily back into limbo. Dead-end jobs, smoking weed, doing the sniff until I was absolutely fucking skint, you know, before seeing the light, brother. And ditching those dastardly ways, keeping myself fit, and along come a Levi's advert one day, strangely enough, featuring one of our tunes. I thought I was fucking seeing things. It was about 3 in the fucking morning, and I rang my brother up and went, fuck me, we're on a fortune, here we got a Levi's advert. He went, fuck off, don't be ringing me at this time, I've got to be up to work. I got up the next morning and put it on the fucking line. Behold, I was right. And before we knew it, word's spreading. Joe Strummer, God bless him, goes on record saying the Rejects were the real deal. Shane McGowan's claiming in his book that he used to knock about with us at the Bridge House in the day. I've never met the geezer in my life. Primal Scream outed themselves as fans. Even old Morrissey was getting in on the act, going on stage in a West End Boys Club shirt claiming he's Stinky Turner. He even wrote the foreword to Jeff's book. And that's when the calls came to people, will you make another album? Well, Vince was long gone by this time, following his own path. So there was a very good friend of mine named Tony Van Freighter.
And I got a phone call off Jeff asking us if I'd like to do Volume 4. You know, the band were reforming, would I play a bass for them? I'm like, oh, fuck, cool, right?
He had produced a compilation album of bands from around the world,
covering Rejects songs, so he was a natural choice to fill in on bass.
I wanted to be in the Rejects when the Rejects were the first time round. If I was tough enough, I would have bashed Mickey fucking Geggis's head in, and I would have been the guitar player. That's how bad I wanted to be in that band.
We was up north in a studio for about 6 days. He introduced us to Laney, who's our current drummer now.
Tony phoned us and just says, look, do you fancy going to the studio at the weekend? Didn't have a clue what band it was or anything.
And we made this album, and yeah, I was pleased with it. There was never any plans to go live. And all of a sudden, the offers started coming in from around the world. Now, our old management had never let us off the leash. They'd never sent us over to Europe. They'd never let us gone here or there or anywhere. We was just a cash cow to be milked here in England. So, all of a sudden, we thought, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And we went very tentative. We played one show in Spain, in northern Spain, to a packed house of about 2,000 people. And there was people camping outside. You know, fucking Rejects T-shirts. I didn't know anyone was doing Rejects T-shirts. They was all fucking wearing them, you know. It was camping outside. It was, oh, like, fuck me, what have we been missing out on here?
So you tell me why you always let me down. And you tell me why you gave me to run around. There's no answer for half the things that you've done. And you remember that I'll always show you one.
Mecca to me. To see the Rejects was like Mecca.
Skaters, all the people here enjoy Cockney Rejects.
Son culte, on va dire, c'est le rapport avec le foot, forcément, quoi. Des morceaux comme Wartime, terrace.
No meu top 3, que seria Cockney, Ramones et Skids.
Bah, les Cockney, forcément, du côté de la musique, et puis, mais vraiment au-delà de la musique, même. Ce qui nous a intéressé, c'était ce lien au football, quoi. C'était ce lien à son quartier, à sa fierté, à être fier de l'endroit d'où on vient.
For me and for us here in Brazil who love football and punk rock, they're the greatest.
Here's the Firm, Bubbles, voilà, c'est les chansons mythiques que nous, supporters, on adore.
You play Batman. Wow.
We got second bite of the cherry. Like, it was almost a force for good. The football thing, it went full circle. Now we was uniting people, and everyone was under one flag, you know? Everyone loved West Ham, everyone loved football. Football firms from up and down the country and sort of all over the world have taken us to their hearts, and we're very grateful for that. There's no rivalry at all. There's none of that old shit. That was in the early violent 80s and the late 70s, but now it's wonderful.
Kids from all around, they all come, join the fun. The cops don't know that sound. They all try to ignore us, but we won't let them win. The wankers try to put us down, but we will smash them in. This way all fun, and they are full of shit, and they're running down the back street. And they're running on the free. Cause we all know that that's the sound of the streets.
I'm very proud of that song because it's been prophetic. It really has. It's come true. I mean, there's a lyric in it that says, like, you know, the kids say come from everywhere, the East End's all around.
The kids say come from everywhere, East End's all around. They all come and join the fun when they hear that sound. You know what to do when you hear the call. Pull your boots.
Japan was brilliant, but it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. You know, it's about 400 people there, and there's about 100 West Ham tops on in Scots going, West Ham. You know, and you think, how long? 2,000 miles away from the West Ham, yeah.
They are full of shit. I'm running down the back street. Running on free. We all know.
It's so easy if you come from round here like that to get so many songs about your real life experiences and what you're doing, you know?
And the great thing is they've translated now all around the world.
I mean, I got this shirt on it, I think I got it in Serbia. And there was all West Ham supporters and all that, and your music, it got us through the war and this, that and the other.
It was like neighbour upon neighbour out there. We had bullet holes in neighbours' houses. And all these people come under one roof to sing our songs. I thought, fucking hell, didn't need fucking United Nations over there, should have bust us in.
Yeah, should have bust us in, yeah.
We would have sorted it.
We would have made it worse, yeah.
Yeah, suppose so.
Yeah.
But the fault's there.
Got another few countries in on the route.
There's many bands all over the world who come and they want to be just like where I was when I was a kid. I wanted to be a reject because they were the biggest street punk band ever. Rancid, Offspring, Blink-182, I can go on forever. There's a lot of Rejects influence in there.
In the 90s, you started doing Green Day. Oh, they were fans of the Cockney Rejects. Bouncing Souls, fans of the Cockney Rejects. Dropkick Murphys, loved the Cockney Rejects. Rancid, Lars came over, he wanted to go to West Ham, he wanted to go to Upton Park and he wanted to meet the Rejects. So it all starts with the Rejects. Even now, when you meet a lot of these bands who fill out in stadiums in the States, what they want to talk about is what were the Rejects like? What was it like back then?
It's my very own identity. 'Cause I love being me.
And then out of the blue, we got an invite to play our mate into the ring for a world title fight at Fortress Upton Park. Finally, after all these years, we were back where it all began.
Upton Park, are you ready? Please welcome into the ring the challenger, played in by the one and only Cockney Rejects from Dagenham, Kevin Mitchell.
Marseille, they're doing it in Barcelona, they're doing it in Paris. I mean, Jesus, the list goes on. It's too many to name. It's literally hundreds of places where this is happening, where they've taken this football thing, this Rejects thing, to their heart, and they're learning how to speak Cockney off listening to the lyrics and reading the back of their record sleeves and all that, and it's humbling, it really is. It's incredible, you know. I'm sitting there, I'm gobsmacked. This thing we started in a bedroom in 1978, 79, you know what I mean? It's gone like this, it's gone this global. And these people, they're you touch it, you know, we're on the same page as these people. We are our audience and they are us. You know, there's no rock star shit, but we're just glad to be there and everyone is having a fucking great time, which I think for all the trouble that we went the first time round, I think we deserve that, to be honest with you. Although we did bring a lot of it on ourselves, admittedly. I've done a lot of things that I regret. I've hurt people unnecessarily sometimes, and I do regret that. I think upon it a lot of times. Things went badly wrong sometimes, but with age comes wisdom. That's the way it goes, c'est la vie.
I wouldn't have had life any other way. It's the Rejects, really, who's made us what I am, shaped us what we are, and who knows, if we wasn't in the band, fucking one day the way it is round here and you had no money, I might have put a fucking stocking over me fucking head and got in the net west. You don't know. There's going to be more tears then, innit, when you're doing a 10 stretch. The years that we took out from not doing it was gutted, but maybe it was a good thing because he's got us to live on and still playing, and it's the greatest thing that, you know, was and ever happened to me.
Even the bad bits were good, were funny. Never a dull moment.
I'm just proud of them. Proud of them. They've made their mark.
I used to have this saying that if I was walking along, if I saw myself at 18, coming in the opposite direction, across the road, I mean, it was all fucking mad. It's all piss and wind when you're that age, isn't it?
Rejects always be a big part of my life. Always have been, always will be. Never going to change.
I'm very content in knowing that we're uniting people and putting a smile on people's faces throughout the globe. While I can still walk, I want to still be doing that. I want to still be doing that. It's a
a buzz that I can't explain.
People never ever wanted to know us. No one mainstream's ever accepted this band, but at the end of the time, we've bashed a few people, so fuck them. This song's called Unforgiven.
Right from very young, could never bite my tongue. I guess Johnny was my middle name. Everything I did, I took place as a kid. Why should I have to hang my head in shame? I am unforgiven. Sing up for punching out some lights. I am unforgiven, 'cause I always stood up for my rights. Go on, Mick, go on, son.
And that's fucking that.
Brothers and sisters, this is where we're from. I'm telling a story back east and Babylon. Good old days are well long gone. Here is the truth, this is the East End Babylon. The place I once loved, I now really despise. Bullshit, hypocrisy, so many lies. Let all your neighbours come into your home. It's the golden rule, we welcome you all. We always look after our own. Chill out, boys, see, I'm letting you on. I'm giving a lowdown on the East End Babylon. I'll let them down, but we're all getting along. Come on down to the East End Babylon.
I'ma take her to the East End Babylon to be blowing bubbles in a green street. Get the picture, no Facebook, just tag alongs where you can buy your taxi gear, Amazon.
I wanna show they put up your name when you're working and signing on.
This is the money we made for our 30 years in the music business, and we still keep it here. Swore never to touch it. That's it. We're very proud that we worked and sweated for this.
How can you say that SLF's lyrics are pretty empty? When the Rejects, we get such masterpieces as I like punk, I like Chef, I got nicked over West Ham. No way you can compare Jake Burns' vocals with Stinky Turner's. Does Turner realise that by altering the tone and pitch of his voice, different notes can be obtained?
In a 2 and 8, God blimey mate, there's no apples and pears. You wanna walk the Vicky Dog Road out at midnight, nobody dares. You meet a little mob who wanna do a job, they only wanna get back home. Nick your wallet and your mobile phone. Have you seen next door's got a brand new car? It's much better than ours. I'll get a Stanley, scratch the cunt up in the early hours. See that scruff in his hand-me-down stuff? He's had it tough. He's got enough to buy his puff.
This is where it all started, and I just hope it don't all end here. I bet it does. Custy?
Yeah.
I'm Custy.
Good man.
Right, let's get out that pub, get on the piss.